Hello, Farlanders. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust. This is episode 835 of Farlands or Bust. Coming at you in classic episode mode. Episode mode? Sure, episode edition. And or podcast edition, if that's where you're listening. It's been a while since a full official episode. Like I said, this one's episode 835 for your Saturday, September 17th, 2022. I've almost forgot how to do this. We've been doing a lot of more streaming of the episodes. Well, not of the episodes. The nomenclature is going to be very confusing. Streaming of Farlands or Bust. So don't worry, we've made many progresses. But I figured it was time for an episode. So hello, hi, how are you? This is Minecraft Beta 173. We've been walking for over 11 years. And that is not lag you're seeing. It is floating point errors from being this far out. Terrain jitter, as we've come to call it. As you can see, the block selection is off center. Because math. Just because math. That'll save everybody a lot of time if we can just say it's because math. But we are continuing on west towards those far lands. Appreciate everybody following along. We've been doing the streaming. Played through Grid Legends, the story mode with full motion cutscenes and acting. That was fun. And we've continued to play Death Stranding against all odds and better judgment. So I think I don't know if that's a positive for the stream, but that's something we've done. Yeah, we're up to 100 games played this year. Keeping a list of those things. But yeah, I just got back. And boy, are my arms tight. I just got back visiting family, my mom in Colorado, whom I have not visited or seen in well over 5 years, I believe. But also my little sister was able to travel in, schedule a visit at the same time from Chicago, so got to see her for the first time since the before times, back when I was in Chicago for the Mindcrack Marathon. And it's the first time I've flown. I can't say travel, because we took that 2-week road trip last summer. So definitely did some traveling, but yeah, first time traveling by plane. I was kind of worried, not only for my own hesitance and anxieties, but just the what's the word I'm looking for? The process, the various gears that seem to have become very unhinged as of late, for many reasons. You know, I was one of like 3% of people wearing a mask throughout the entire experience, and so far, I said this yesterday when I streamed, but I don't want to jinx it, but I appear to have done the travel unscathed. sans deadly virus. I took a test before I left just to make sure because I didn't want to bring it to my mom, and I was negative. I don't feel like I'm gonna need another test, but so far so good. That doesn't seem to have been the case for a lot of people who I follow who went to, like, PAX most recently and stuff like that. It seems everybody got it from PAX. So, if you're careful, you theoretically could travel. As long as you just don't take off your mask. Refuse all drinks and tiny packages of peanuts. No mask removal whilst on the plane. And what little times that I needed to eat in my layover in the airport, I found a less populated, sparsely crowded, unused gate to sit down at and eat really quickly. And yeah, didn't eat out at any restaurants or anything at my destination or whatever. Mostly cooked stuff at my mom's place. And when I say cook stuff, I mean my mom cooked stuff. My mom was very much like, no. We did breakfast, I suppose. I did eggs and stuff, but yeah, that was good, I suppose. And I'm a little bit like, it was gonna, if it went south, I was like, oh no, that would probably mean that old Kerchamac would never want to fly again. that would be the last and only straw, and that would not have boded well for future Kurt. Future Kurt. And I took Southwest. I know some people poo-poo the Southwest Airlines. But it was cheap, efficient. And the thing I've mentioned many times before, I kind of like that there is no first class. Whenever I take any other airline and you gotta walk through the oligarchy or whoever's sitting up front, that just makes me feel like we're back in Titanic times. Oh, gotta sit back there with the steerage. Gotta separate us with a little fancy curtain. Can't use their bathroom up there. No. So yeah. I mean, like, there's, like, business class and, like, people who get the board first and pick out their seats first or whatever, but everybody's for the most part, it's got the same seat. Just don't pick the first. For one of my flights, there was couple open seats in the front row. Don't pick the front row if you don't pick the front row if you want. I like to keep my backpack with me. There's no under seat storage in the front row. So then I, like, moved, and I was like, it's not you, it's me, to, like, the guy who was already sitting there. I'm not trying to get away from you. I just like to have my backpack with me. So yeah, I hate layovers. I've had bad luck with layovers, but I got pretty, like, 2-hour layovers, so it kind of worked out. And it split up the flight into, like, nice 2-hour flights that weren't too lengthy or laborious. I don't hate, I would and I do, but I don't like the exit row seats for some reason. I don't, too much pressure. I also feel like I can't lean up against the window and, like, look out, you know, because it's a door. Yeah, I will, and I have, and I've been like, ooh, this is comfortable. Especially that one exit row seat that's behind the missing seat. So you, like, you just have the whole open space area and stretch out. But the best row to sit in is the front row, the cockpit. I did find that the second row, after I bailed out of the front row, the second row window seat has a lot of legroom for some reason. It can be hit or miss there because the front of the plane like is tapered inward, so you're a little bit more squanched sometimes. But I felt pretty comfortable on the second row right side window seat. I was also a little bit worried because Southwest uses the Boeing 737 Maxes, which have been rebranded as like something else now. And I'm like, huh, I don't really care for that specific airplane, but there are few, Wolfie, there are a few things to be kind of picky about, and the model of airplane was not one of them at the price point I was getting the tickets. But yeah, let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. Careful, cow! Careful, cow! Be careful, cow! Oh, that cow. He's fine. He's safe. Good lord. We're about to have some roast beef. That's pretty crazy. All right, where's my compass? There we go. Continuing on. That is a creeper. That's a creeper right over there. So yeah, did that. It was kind of a relaxing time. I'd been to the area before my mom moved there. So we honestly did a bunch of things that I had already done before. But that's fine. It was more about visiting the family. Did a little hike, little this and that. Went to a zoo, just mostly hung out at the mom's house. Nice weather, warm. I did kayak on a reservoir, which I feel was a positive experience. I would still like to do it some more in around this area before I go dropping wads of cash. Wads of cash. Also, I would definitely need to build up some of those rowing muscles, which I suppose would happen the more I would do it. But I also sat on a very tiny train. I had to, because train. How's Wolfie doing? He did take some damage somewhere back there. All right. I saw some weird moths. My mom had a bunch of hummingbird moths, which I had never seen before. So we were enamored with the hummingbird moths, the great sphinx moths, or something like that it's called. Just all over the place. All over the place. An infestation, I say. So yeah. That happened. And now I'm back. You didn't even know I was gone. How dare you? Didn't even miss me. Lil Sean wanted a Hearse update. The Hearse has had its first camp outing. The girlfriend was doing trail work. Out and about, and instead of driving home and home and there again, decided to camp out there with the Hearse. And it seemed like a success. She does say, like, she has a camp mattress. Might be a little thin, so she might want to add some, like, an extra, like, egg crate padding or something to it. But otherwise, she said it stayed warm and or cool enough inside the Hearse. Just was that like a campground, not like wilderness camping or anything, obviously. Where you get a little spot and could set up a tent if you want, but camped in the Hearse. I think she's still waiting on some curtains for a few more of the windows. Yeah, otherwise it worked. She went out there to work and drove my car, and then I drove the Hearse to the campground to meet her. Because she didn't want to leave the Hearse parked at the trailhead where she was working. So I drove a great distance. Even with the seat as far back as it can go now, it's still not... I'm not stretched out or necessarily comfortable. I feel like we probably should bleed the brakes, because the brakes feel very touchy. They're very touchy and stiff. I don't know if that's an indicator of anything, and I've personally never bled brakes, so I don't know. How adamant I would be to do that, or what. I need to look up the latest Chris Fix video on how to bleed your brakes. And hear him say water. Two people know what I'm talking about. Beresium is one of them. So yeah, that's good. That's, yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it not to work out. She did a good job taking out all, I mean, we took out all the Hearse stuff, the casket rollers. Still for sale, if anybody's interested. But then, like, put down, like, a rubber flooring thing and trim and everything for the back area and stuff. Oh, we got the speedometer. Somebody on my Throne wish list got us the GPS speedometer, so we know what our miles per hours are. The only problem is that the cigarette lighter for some reason doesn't provide power. So what we did is we hooked it up to the camp battery. I just hooked it up to the camp battery and put it on the dashboard, and it worked. You made me bleed my own brakes. Yeah, I gotta figure out. I know they even make, like, complete replacements for the cigarette lighter that just plug into the same power, but they, instead of, like, the cigarette lighter to USB, they're just straight up USB replacements for the little cigarette lighter hole. Different voltage and amps. No, it's all the same. It just, like, straight... I'd replace the fuse and everything, and it has no power. It might be unplugged. They might have, like, I don't know. I mean, they shouldn't have. But they might have unplugged it when they had all the power stuff for the casket rollers. But it was like, that was directly... That had its own line direct from the battery that we unhooked and got rid of after we got rid of the casket rollers. So I don't think it was that. It just might be dead. Well, it is a hearse. So maybe the people who drove the hearse knew the dangers of smoking and just yeah, like there isn't even a cigarette like lighter in there. It's just the whole. I recall older cigarette lighters in Europe had smaller, more narrow tips. Maybe the design is slightly different, but enough to make modern adapters not work. True. I guess I did, like, yeah, without having a cigarette lighter. I don't know if that's the case for Japan. It's 1995. The car is of 1995, so I can't imagine that different. It doesn't look any different than cigarette lighters I'm familiar with. But who knows? Maybe just finding one of those. Maybe I gotta add it to my throne. Finding one of those just replacement USB situations, just to directly wire into the same wiring. Take a multimeter to it. I tell you what, that's something I need to put on my throne, because I do not have one. I have one, but it was one of those ones that you got at Harbor Freight for free, and it is a hunk of junk. Speaking of hunks of junk, I messed that up. All right. Dang it, Wolfie. Let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And awakeness. And continuing on this. Well, this was back. This is Harbor Freight of old. When, like, they had coupons. Although I've noticed the coupons are coming back, but coupons and, like, free stuff when you purchase something $5 or more, you know? But when do I've... The only times I've ever needed a multimeter would be to, like, check if a battery is charging correctly. Think I can get out of there? Is this going to be a waste of a boat? Ah! Oh, it is if I crash into this wall. I know which direction I'm going. Careful, Wolfie. Jather wonders, beans or rice? It all depends on the dish, I would say. Some rice has beans, and you can have both. Thomas Fraud says both. I mean, I think rice is more versatile as far as usage in different scenarios. And the girlfriend doesn't really like beans, so I've been living somewhat beanless the last few years. Not that I was a big bean boy earlier or anything like that. Beans are good for your heart. Are they? I mean, I know they're like an source of protein. mean, I guess I had some refried beans. We did get takeout Mexican once at my mom's, and we had fried beans with that, but beans. Yeah, but I like rice too. I mean, I made rice on stream. We made fried rice. I mean, I guess the rice was already made because you used the old rice, but remember? Cow remembers. Oh. Oh. Speaking of trips, Weatherman has a question. Whoa, that was weird. That they know full well I will not be able to answer. What is your ideal vacation? Where do you go, and what do you do? All right, Arnold. A girlfriend has asked me this many times. I definitely have a problem where I overthink these things and like have to like this is your final answer and you're locked into it for the rest of your life. Okay. God, I don't know. I think that the answer that we came up with the girlfriend was like one that somebody else does all the planning for. He's overthinking it. Get him. Like all the logistics are taken care of. I don't mind paying, but as long as all the logistics are taken care of, I'm good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've talked about this a lot. Some in Farlands or Bust History. Like, I don't care to travel to like see cities or like local cuisine or anything like that. I'm just not impressed or enamored by like infrastructure. Places with erosion. Yeah. I mean, like, I literally don't know. I mean, the road trip was pretty good. Less the camping aspect, I suppose, I was not feeling privy to at the time. Oh, Wolfie, you're gonna drown, you dang dingus. You dang dingalingus. Here's a good screenshot for the thumbnail. Speaking of erosion. Can we get Wolfie in there? Oh, you gotta get out there more. You gotta get out there more. We're taking pictures. It's picture time. Oh, you ding. You didn't look at the camera. Look at the camera. Got him. All right. Dodging the question. Getting distracted. I mean, yeah, I suppose, yeah, like, there is some, whoa, there is something, interesting about perhaps experiencing the culture shock of somewhere like Japan. I don't know that it would be culture shock, because it would be more like language shock, but, I have watched through on Amazon all of the travel man episodes. Travel man? But like, you can't, yeah, like, your travels are not going to be comparable to a tightly edited television show experience, so I like how he tends to go for, like, avoids the touristy, heavily touristed areas, and like seeks out like a weird museum or this strange contraption or tower that lets you see over the city or whatever, you know? Like, that sort of stuff, I suppose, is interesting to me more so than like, I'm going to stand in a line to see the Mona Lisa. Nah, I'm good. Good on that. So yeah, I suppose I don't have an ideal figured out. And I suppose it's less about the place and more about the ease at which stuff might transpire. I've had some pretty stressful vacations and trips in the past, to where it's like, this is not a vacation, this is worse than, I just would rather be home. That's a creeper. I've waited too long. I've waited too long. I've forgotten how these episodes go. Alright, let's just dig in. Okay, right here. We're just digging in right here. Wolfie? Oh dear. Oh, that's concerning. Why was there dirt there? Did it just insta-spawn? Alright, that's weird. Yeah, move over. Alright. Let us secure ourselves. Quickly. Okay. Alright, we did it. Oh god, that was, woo! That was the terrain jitter. I'm looking at this block, but it's still selecting the block underneath me. I've rarely built a hidey hole at this perpendicular to the terrain jitter. I'm not attuned to it. It's also all dirt. When was the last time we had an all dirt hidey hole? Who's got the stats? Wolfie does. Alright, let's make these beds. And finish off this episode 835 of Farlands or Bust. Thank you everybody for tuning in, for listening or watching, or being here live with some questions. I'll make a couple boats, I suppose. And yeah, I appreciate you hanging out. Shirts might be on sale still, as you're listening to this. Shirts over at TeePublic, link in the doobly-doo. Yeah. Thank you very much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. I also sat on a very tiny train.